Happy New Year. My name is Black Steel, aka Celestina. I am an artist. I've been an artist for about 20 years, 25 years, more than not. I specialize in anime and magical girls. I'm proficient in, let's see, all magical girl things, I guess, since they're my favorite things to draw. I'm currently working on my own comic, a couple of novels, and some painting work, which is very different for me. But this is one of my year goals, not yearly goal, a year goal, is to try different mediums and maybe, I don't know, figure out something else that I like besides digital art, since I've been doing digital art for so long. So I think this is the year that I'm going to document a lot of things that I do and just kind of hang out with you guys and vlog about my experiences and everything else. But today we're going to just work on a painting that I will be releasing at a over the night table in Florida. It's a Sailor Moon rave, which is really exciting. That'll be, I think, February 21st, and it's in Miami. So I'm really thrilled to do that. I've never done anything like it, so I'm really excited. So I guess today we're gonna work on that. It'll be something that I'm doing before I have to go to ballet today, because I'm a great supporter of the arts, but ballet is one of the few passions that I've had that has carried in from my childhood. And I guess we're just gonna hang out today. I hope you'll join me. So today I'm working on a canvas that I got from Michaels. I wanna say it's art something, the brand anyway, but they came in a little pack because they're on sale, which is really exciting because I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money, if I could help it, on something that I wouldn't particularly use all the time. And especially if I'm still experimenting with things that I want to do. So I'm gonna definitely stick my hands in it and see what's happening with that kind of thing. And I guess I'll just answer a couple questions that I feel I get sometimes from people who find out that I'm an artist. So one of the questions that I get is, how do I stop myself from abandoning ideas and starting something new? What's really funny is I don't ever really abandon any ideas that I have. They just end up showing up in other mediums. So when I first started working on Cities and Sound, I definitely really wanted to create a space and a world where demons and humans can kind of exist, because I've always had a fascination with demonology, I guess, but that's from watching Inuyasha as a kid, and I felt it's a little embarrassing, but I always felt I would end up finding my Prince Charming as a half demon or something, which I think is really funny, I guess. Because if you don't know, my sign is a Gemini, and to correlate that is I'm half personality and half another personality, or whatever the internet decides to say that Geminis are. And so in that case, I never ever really get rid of an idea. I just kind of keep working with it until I can find a good place to put it. So, oh, if you guys don't know, this is my dog, Walter, is the white one. And then that's Louie, that's the brown one. Those are my mom's dogs, and they're my children. And I have another one, and her name is Luna, and she's the best. I love them so much. I also have cats. They might show up in my vlogs sometimes. So no, I don't ever really throw an idea away. I think sometimes they just end up on the back burner until I know what I'm gonna do with them. Okay, one year I started watching Precure, and if you've never heard of Precure, it's basically if Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z had a baby and made a show, because it's all super prim proper, exciting magical girl stuff, but then it's straight fighting and hands. It's great. It's one of my favorite genres of show, because I love pretty girls, and then I also love pretty girls who could fight. So so one of my next ideas was to make a web comic that has all those elements in them, and the next webcomic that I was working on, it's called Colorblind, and it's basically that. Like, she's a pretty girl and she has magical powers, but most of the time, like, she just fights using her hands, and it's really cool. But also it's like an adult-ish magical girl kind of situation, because she's in college and she wants to be a fashion designer and she has a job. And I feel like that's like something that a lot of shows end up lacking, is that they forget that these characters can grow up. And I never wanted to be like an artist who didn't realize that characters can grow up. But I think when you're young and you're figuring out like what you want to draw or what kind of genre you want to do, like, you always kind of start with like stuff in your own generation. So like my very first, oh my god, it's really embarrassing to talk about, my very first comic was about this girl, and she was in middle school and she was going to be a superhero, and then she ended up dating a mafia boss's son. It was really cringy, but cringe is a state of mind and cringe is okay. But it was basically like around the timeline about how old I was, so it made sense that I created a character around that age. What did I end up doing with my art degree? So I went to a private institution in Boca, and then it got bought out by this really big school, which I thought was a little ironic. While I'm working on this one, I will be working on another one, but I don't have a reference for it yet. So it's in the chamber. It's going to be Sailor Mars is next. It got bought out by this really prestigious school, so we ended up not having a school to go back to, which was kind of funny and sad at the same time. So I got a degree from this really like prestigious school. So it looks good on paper, but like personally, I just ended up freelancing and doing commissions, and now I'm tabling with my best friends, and it's really cool. So that's what I ended up doing. I personally, now that I'm a little bit older, I feel like art schools are just not it if they can't give you the right material. Like, if you've gotta somehow find a job on your own after you've been in college for however many long years, like, and they don't offer like internships or anything like that, especially like at an art college, I personally don't think that it's very worth it. But that's really just my opinion on the subject. And if you want to go to an art school, I'm not saying you shouldn't. Like, if that's something you really want to do, I highly encourage it. Like, I've always been a big fan of like schooling and that kind of stuff. Like, I've never not liked school. I only didn't like school when I felt like everything was a test, and it was spent learning how to take tests versus learning new skills. That was my only issue. So that was like my whole thing. Another question I get sometimes is, what did I do to get started? So it's a little controversial, I believe, but if you are an artist, or like you go to any art store or Barnes and Nobles or Books A Million or whatever when they existed, there was an author by the name of Chris Hart. I didn't know, like, as a kid, I bought his very first, I still have it like to this day, his very first How to Draw Magical Girl books, and that basically like changed my perspective on how to draw things, because I always loved Sailor Moon when I was a kid. So with that being said, I ended up learning a lot of stuff from that book, and then learning that he didn't actually really draw any of that. It was him outsourcing to other artists, which is totally fine. I think as a kid, I just thought he could change his style, so I was like, that's so impressive, oh my god. But finding out that's not the case was also very interesting as well. But I have a lot of books by him, and then there's an artist that was or is still on YouTube, Mark Crilley. I definitely recommend his books, because all of his art is in the same style that he's been drawing for like years, and he's just really encouraging. So I definitely recommend like his stuff too if you're just like getting started. What else? What's my favorite thing to draw? Magical girls. What's the hardest thing for me to draw? Men. I don't know the anatomy of a man for real, and honestly, I want to change that this year, so I'm definitely gonna make myself learn how to draw men. I say it every year, but this is the year I'm actually gonna do it, and you guys can definitely hold me accountable because we're here now. We're here together. Do I have a desk? Yes, I do. It's upstairs. Do I sit at my desk? I haven't in a while. I will be taking some time at my desk, I believe. I have a couple of things to get ready for the show, which is definitely one of them is me painting a couple of purses for this show to sell too. Eventually all of my stuff that I sell will be available on an online shop. So if that's something you guys want to do or like put your hands in, you're more than welcome to. I will not turn you down if you want to buy my stuff. And also I just feel like it's a little piece of me that you get to take home with you. And even if it's like not super big, like as long as you enjoy it and you like my art, then I'll definitely like keep making it. I'm gonna keep making it regardless because my art is important to me, but finding other people who like my art is always so exciting. One of the first places that I sold my art at was UltraCon in 2024, and one of the first pieces that I sold was an original piece for an original character that I made years ago. I made the character years ago, not the art piece, but it was really cool because that was like my first piece, and I was like, wow, you really like this? And they were like, oh my god, yes, she's so cool. I was like, thank you. I was so excited. Like I gushed about it for literal days because as someone who's always like been on the other side of like OC drawing, where people either really like your OCs or they really hate them because of whatever reason, like back in the day it was because if your character was like a Mary Sue or whatever they used to call it back then, it was automatically like not a good OC. And I always thought that was kind of interesting and albeit a little strange to me because every character that you make that doesn't exist within the canon universe is a Mary Sue. Regardless of what they can do or what they say, they're automatically like not, I don't want to say not perfect or whatever, because they didn't exist within the canon universe anyway. So you still have to change things to make them fit. And I always thought that was a little like weird of people because make whatever you want. Like make whatever character you want. Like say at the time, like My Hero was so big to me. So I definitely made like a couple OCs to live within that universe. And I always felt like so weird, like sharing them with people because I was like, oh my god, what if they hate my OC? And after a while I was like, what does it even matter, you know? I made it for me, and if I want my character to hang out with Bakugo and he yells at them, then that's what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be fine, and it's gonna be a good time. Or what's another show that I made an OC for? Because I feel like I made an OC for everything. I made an OC for Inuyasha back in the day. She was a blacksmith. Her name is Kiaria, and she was a fox. And I thought she was the coolest thing in the world. So I was like, oh, she's a fox. She's a blacksmith. She's like a friend of Inuyasha, and she's in love with Sesshomaru. And I was like, girl, get in line. But it was for fun. Like I wasn't claiming Inuyasha or anything like to be my own creation. Like she still existed within like the canon universe in my head. Or I don't think I ever made an OC for Sailor Moon, which I think is kind of funny because I love Sailor Moon so much, but I think because the universe of Sailor Moon is just so perfect already that I didn't think I needed to make one. But if I feel like one day for a vlog I should make one and see what happens, or see how I feel about it. I did make an OC for Attack on Titan. Oh, what a day. She was such a cool character to me, and I definitely had taken her name from Ruby because I was really big into Ruby and Monty Oum and all that kind of stuff back then. I still am really big into like anything that Monty Oum had created. rest his soul, because he was one of the coolest like animators to like literally walk the earth. And he was such a big inspiration to me that it was heartbreaking when he passed away. And I really didn't know what to do with myself when he did, because I felt like at the time I had based everything that I ever wanted to do or everyone ever wanted to be was based off of the idea that I'd get to meet him one day, or at least like stick my hand in the hat to like get a job with him or something. But when he passed away, I lost it. I think I lost my spark for like everything, because nothing really mattered to me if he wasn't there. And I know that's like ultra vulnerable to like talk about, but I think mourning the loss of someone you've never met is normal. Because you never know, like everybody has things that impact them. I feel like that way about like when music artists pass on too. Like I think people forget that these are people that exist within a space and time that maybe you don't exist in, or maybe you wouldn't really fit into, but they still had like such a big impact on your life. So, but I made a promise to myself that Monty Ohm's legacy like wouldn't die to me or to anyone else, because his whole big thing was like getting up and creating without like issue. That's my cat. That's Jack. And yeah, like sometimes, some days it was harder than others, but I told myself I would definitely keep going. So that's why I'm here. I hope that like the time that you spend with me in our really, really chill, like drawing area is a time well spent for you, because it's phenomenally spent for me. What else? What is one of my biggest inspirations? Ballet, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh! That's for sure. I quote a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Lines on the regular. It should be studied, actually. I was just rewatching the first season the other day, and I laugh at like how cheesy it is, but like in a really like sweet way. It's very nostalgic for me. Like that whole era of TV was very nostalgic for me, especially like when Yu-Gi-Oh used to be on 4Kids, and it was with Magical Do Re Mi or Winx Club or Roblox. I'm not Roblox. Chaotix was it? And Cubix was there. Sonic X was there. I remember absolutely like losing my mind when I found out there was a Sonic cartoon that had nothing to do with Sally Acorn. I don't want to say I'm a hater, but I am, because I didn't like the way that they wrote her, because I knew that Amy Rose existed, and the fact that she existed but she wasn't in this show like threw me off, and I was like, who is this? It was something. Little Celestina was a funny kid, I must say. Well, we're halfway through this, which I think is pretty cool. It looks really nice in this lighting, actually. I hope someone gives it a good home, because these things I've been making myself learn how to do have been really fun for me. And I hope that like someone really likes it enough to want to give it a nice home. I also feel like there's not enough like Sailor Moon art in the world. And I know that's like controversial, because it's like, it's such a big show, and like the new season movie just came out, and I was like, yeah, it did, but there can always be more. Naoko Takeuchi really made a banger show, and I hope she knows that she did, especially being married to such a like also banging author. Yoshihiro Tagashi created one of my favorite shows, Yu Yu Hakusho. And back when your girl used to write fan fiction, like I don't write fan fiction now. Now I'm more like focused on like my own like original stuff than fan fiction. But there was such an untapped potential in Yu Yu Hakusho, I feel like, because I didn't end up finding out that there were like 2 more seasons until I was well into like my high school years, and my mom bought it for me on DVD, or I bought it, one of the two. And they're like, oh yeah, chapter black and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, whoa. Not y'all continued y'all story and didn't tell nobody. He told everybody. He just didn't tell me. And I'm personally offended by that. But I like when other authors marry other authors. I don't know. It's just an aesthetic thing I like. What do I struggle with as an artist? I struggle with drawing men and animals. I also struggle with consistency because after a while I get a little bored, but I think it's just like how my brain operates. Like I just get bored with drawing the same thing over and over again. And that's not technically a bad thing. It's just, it doesn't keep me busy anymore. Like if I start a project, I can't really talk about it until I'm like almost done. And I know that's like, I'm pretty sure that's kind of normal for people because sometimes I feel like a lot of artists don't talk about things until they're like in production. Like they're like, oh, the design's done, it's going to production or what have you. I can't do that because I can't shut up. So I feel like I have to tell everybody what I'm doing. But now I'm kind of taking it slow because I feel like when I tell people what I'm making or designing, I now feel obligated to finish it, and then I don't want to. Now it feels like a chore. Wow, it's coming out pretty nice, actually. I really just have to finish cleaning it up and doing the background, and this one will be ready for a home too. My plan is, or my hope is, to finish at least the inner scouts by that time of the show. But we all know how Celestina can be. So, fingers crossed. I'm also really interested in doing different types of vlogs. Like if you guys really want like just a chill with me vlog where I don't talk at all and we just kind of hang out and draw together, I'd love that too. And I'd also really love to see what you draw or make or write or whatever. So I'm definitely gonna plug like my Instagram and stuff in the description below so that you can keep in touch with me, because I'd love to build a community where we all just kind of hang out and draw with each other. I find personally that if I have someone to sit with me while I draw or sit with me while I literally do anything, I'm more inclined to finish it because I'm like, wow, I can't just sit here and do nothing and you're working really hard. I'm pretty sure there's like a method or something for that, or like a little joke somewhere. But I'd love to just hang out with everybody and just draw. My dogs end up keeping me company a lot of the times, and my cats. But I think they keep me company until I start picking them up and bothering them. But I can't help it. I just love them so much. I recommend though, when you are drawing, if you have to like move your body a lot while you draw, I recommend some stretching. I have ballet today, so I'm definitely gonna make myself stretch a little bit longer during our stretching class part because I can't get like bad cramps in my back and stuff. That would just not be fun. So this is where we are right now. I think that's a pretty good place to like stop. Well, at least for like this video. Hopefully by the next one I'll be done. I definitely want to do some sketchbook work with you guys. I think I'll end up making videos at night too, only because of my work schedule and stuff and what have you. I'll be putting up vlogs, I want to say a little bit frequently. We'll just see how the editing and stuff goes, but I want to keep with consistency. So if you love hanging out with me, don't be shy, and you can definitely press that subscribe button to the side, and you can like this video and leave a comment. If you watched it all the way to the end, can you leave a crescent moon in the comments, please? Because crescent moons are my favorite. I've got them tattooed everywhere. But it was really nice hanging out with you guys. I had a really great time. Have the best day in the world. And remember, if you're creating something, then that means you're adding to the beauty in this world. I'll see you next time. Bye.